champion. Can he fare any better against the current one and try to give some hope to the US team in what's threatening to become one of the Mosconi Cup's all-time most one-sided contests? It's early December, it's England, so there must be a bit of frost around. Good evening, Scott. Just how important is it for Gorst to win this match?
Good evening, Michael. Yes, it's vital, obviously. But that being said, I feel like last match was a plus for Fedor Gorst. He did get a chance to get comfortable. He made a real good run, 2 racks in a row. He needs to come with it here. He knows that
Team USA to break.
Narrowly missing the 1. Purple 5 narrowly missing the corner. We're going to get our first look at Ruiz.
He walked into M&M, and I think at the moment it's a question of would the real Fedor Gorst please stand up, because he was brought in, seen as the man who was going to turn it all around, give the Americans much more hope of getting that win that has eluded them in recent years during this European 3 in a row. But it hasn't gone to plan for him or his new team at all. And now he's up against the world number 1.
Yes, and when it rains, it pours. And right now it seems like it's pouring. Fran definitely needs to get out here to send a message to Gorst. He's had a suspect year. Nice shot on the 1 by the purple 5. He's laying real good on the 2.
It sounds like a funny thing to say, doesn't it? He's had a suspect year when he's been world champion this year. But you're absolutely right, because he started off so well, had that success in Poland, played brilliantly at the Premier League to win that a few weeks later. But since then, he's gone back to the Francisco Sanchez Ruiz of a few years ago. Not quite up there among the very best players. He's been doing okay in tournaments, but he was doing much, much more than okay for the 12 months or so prior to that.
And this is where he shines. He's sitting perfect on the 3. As we see here, the 4 leads to the 5. 5 leads to the 6. I don't see a lot of trouble. Maybe needs an angle on the 6 to get to the brown 7. Not a lot of problems here.
It's only the 2nd Mosconi Cup singles match he's ever played. Made his debut last year. Played 1 match against Skylar Woodward and lost that. Fared better in the doubles last year, 2 wins out of 3, and he's already had a doubles win this year, last night with his great pal David Al-Kaidi, against an American pairing which included Fedor Gorst, who was paired up with Shane Wolford for the last match of the night.
Michael, I somehow feel like I'm trying to will Team USA to a point. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but at the same time, we really need one. And this isn't the start that Gorst wanted. Narrowly missed the 1 on the break, and the 5 up in the corner. Either one of those dropped, and this is his rack. This cue ball needs to get out, and it has. A little inside here. A lot of these guys use low left. Less cue ball travel or movement. That's what he's done. Straight in here isn't an issue. He can draw back.
I'm guessing that sign means it's her first time at the Mosconi. Trust you, it isn't always as one-sided as this.
Extension, please.
That being said, I truly don't think it's too late. Things can change. Played that very intelligently. And this is not what Gorst was looking for in game 1, and it seems to set the pace in these short races to 5.
So Fedor Gorst had the chance to make an early impact here, which he wasn't able to do against Filler earlier. He had the break in the opening rack, but it came up dry. He spent the rest of the rack sitting in his chair. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has run it out from there. He leads 1-0, and he will have the break in the second rack. He had 2 breaking racks in the doubles match last night, and Europe ended up running out from both of them. And so, progress continues in the same direction. Pia Filler there looking on. Max Lechner, Austrian player who's threatened to make the team in recent years. He's here with his big pal, Alban Ocean. And again, we're just repeating what we were saying last night, Scott, but look at this body language, look at this togetherness among these players. It's no mystery why they're doing so well.
No, it just seems natural for Europe. Although I will say, Jeremy Jones has done a great job so far today. The team has been together. I've noticed SVB going out there on his own, rooting on his teammate. And, you know, when you're down 5 points to 0, where do you begin? Well, you've got to begin somewhere. Let's hope that happens here.
We've been talking about the fact that last night was only the 4th time that a team has won every point going on the opening day of the Mosconi Cup. In the previous 3, on 2 occasions, the team that hadn't got any points on the first day then managed to win the first match on day 2 and snap the sequence. But last time, 10 years ago, when there were 5 matches on the opening night and Europe won them all, they ended up stretching that lead to 7-0 and were 1 rack away from going 8-0. So that's the territory we're moving towards now.
Yes, that definitely is the territory we're moving towards.
So, as I was saying, breaking racks were very productive for Sanchez Ruiz last night.
In favor of Team Europe.
Here comes another one, with him already 1 rack in front.
To break.
The 1 has hit the same place that Fedor's hit. But look at this. The blue 2 covers the 1 up, and nothing but trouble this rack. The brown 7 and 8 are tied up. There's a lot of work to do. Initially, going to be a rollout, I assume, unless he can see a piece of the 1. If he can see a piece of the 1, oh, he can see a piece of the 1, and the crossbank is actually on. He might be able to play a 2-way shot, sending the cue ball down table. He's going to have to use a lot of inside English to miss the kiss here, I believe.
So frustrating that he didn't get the chance of having a go at the 1. Blocked by the 2 ball, but then again the Americans are being thwarted by a wall of blue ever since this Mosconi Cup began.
Yeah, you can just feel it, and he didn't want that 1 to cover up in front of the pocket there. Ruiz has an opportunity to jump this in and draw the cue ball. These guys, these days, seem like this is almost like ball in hand. But let's just say Ruiz happens to miss this jump and Fedor Gorst gets a shot. The table is tough, and it just seems to be the way it's gone.
Well, struck it well, as you can see. The cue ball came back to where he wanted it to. Instead of having a chance to go 2-0 in front, he's presented Gorst with a chance that really you feel, if they're to start turning around this momentum, he's got to take.
Yeah, and the 4-inch pockets rearing their ugly heads there. And as I just mentioned, Gorst with a lot of work to do here. I do believe he's comfortable with what he did last match. Made a couple mistakes early versus Filler, but then started to get comfortable, and that makes a big difference in this setting. The more time he gets out there, the better he's going to perform. As I mentioned, Michael, there is a lot of work to do. Narrowing the gap so far, the 3 to the pink 4, leads to the 5. The trouble is the brown 7 and black 8. He's got a nice angle here to come one rail over. He'd like to get close to straight in so he can get back for the 6. If not, he wants a big angle. So does he go above the side or below it? He stays below it, nice and safe. He wants that cue ball to settle. It looks good. Obviously needs to draw this back. He wants to get the cue ball off of the rail a little bit so he can work once he gets to this 6. Needs this cue ball to travel a little bit. Yeah, a little shake of the head. Can he get into it enough to nudge the 8? He's going to have to dig into this with a lot of inside English. He's decided to play the defensive play, and he's done great. Like to have moved the 7 out just a little bit more. Ruiz has got work to do here.
Jeremy Jones has certainly got work to do as well. Means so much to him. 3 defeats in a row. He would desperately love to captain a winning Mosconi Cup team just once, and he's put so much passion, so much energy into it over the last few months since he was confirmed as captain again. Inside, he must be starting to feel a little devastated. His dream is unraveling here.
Be real nice if he could bump the 7 for Gorst.
The foul, no
So he's still got work to do.
Start shot clock, please.
What a camera angle that was. How close to a good hit was that? He's going to come to the short side. I believe the 7 plays in the lower right. He's gotten a nice bump. If it didn't play in the lower right, it does now, but there is a real good safe available. Does he go for it or lock him up to the 8? He's going to try and lock him up again.
Sometimes you feel like you've got to force the issue a bit, Scott, to try to make things happen. But in this instance, the way Gorst is approaching this rack just underlines they can't afford to do that. He's just got to get the racks on the board.
Yes, that's interesting you say that. The captain, the great Jeremy Jones, and I were speaking just a little bit ago, and you're exactly right. You have to force it. You have to make something happen, and I'm a little surprised Gorst didn't glue him closer to that 8. And this is why. He's gotten fortunate, Gorst. There's a scratch. This is an opportunity.
And you just hear the roars of the Americans in the crowd there. It just shows how much every rack they're getting at the moment means to them, because they've been so thin on the ground. So I started this rack by saying that the breaking racks were very productive for FSR last night. But this one looks certain now to go against him. So hard for Gorst to get any kind of foothold early on, and before he knew it, the match had slipped away from him against Joshua Filler. But he's registered one early in this. It's 1-1. We talk a lot about momentum in the Mosconi Cup and in all events of this nature in all sports. And of course, Gorst will be playing again in the next match. He'll be playing with Shane Van Bonen in the doubles. They'll be up against Sanchez Ruiz again, this time partnering Filler in that. So the momentum that they could create if he could just get that first win on the board is in many ways almost as important as the point itself.
Yes, Michael, we talked about it earlier, and I think it's a great decision by the captain, Jeremy Jones, to do what he's done. Yes, Gorst loses the first match, but that being said, every shot he's getting more comfortable. The team is out there, they're talking, Gorst is smiling, and he has good reason.
Saw some American fans there. It's a long, long way to travel here to North London, all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to see your team being humiliated, and so far you have to say that's what's happened. And if Gorst wins this, they will roar and shout and stamp as if they've won the Mosconi.
And it is Gorst to break, Michael. And you just go back to yesterday, losing by 1 game and 2 points. You know, could have that gone a different direction.
So 1 break each so far in this match, both dry.
The 1 has come short again. Does the 8 drop? It's going to be dry. Cue ball finished on top of the 1. Almost a golden break there, a little better kiss off the 8. Gorst making a motion like, yes, let's just settle right there. Although, I don't know that he's going to like what he's facing next. I think Ruiz can thinly come off the top of the 1 and play the cue ball at least 2 rails, maybe 3, down to the bottom of the table. And that's what he's going to do, Michael. He's going to use the 6 and 4 as cover.
This is a match that brings together 2 of the top 3 players in the world at the moment. Sanchez Ruiz, as I've said, has been #1 all year. Gorst has been shooting up those rankings throughout 2023. And look, big designs on that #1 spot in 24 if he continues his current rate of progress. But that's all for the future. Right now, his team need a point.
Needs a bit of luck here, and he did not get it. I'm just looking at the way these balls finished on the break. It's just not a common layout for this format. Just caught the 1 a fraction thin there. And another big opportunity for Europe. Ruiz.
He was around for so long, wasn't he, as part of the supporting cast on the global pool stage. And it was around about this time 2 years ago that in some of the smaller events he started to get more and more consistent results. Carried that into 22, that great run to the UK Open final. And representing the country of the flag being worn by that gentleman. He won the World Cup for Spain. We thought this has been a great year for him already, but of course the best was yet to come. Won the US Open, so many dramatic matches along the way, just over a year ago, and that all fed in to them becoming world champion in Poland back in February. And even if he never gets back to those levels, well, how many sports people really have a 12-month run like that at any point in their career? They will always be able to look back on that golden spell.
Yeah, amongst the players, it was a fascinating run. It was a big buzz for quite a long time. I don't know that we've seen it. Just looking at the 3-9-8 combination. I don't know that the 9 could lay up, but the 3-9 could lay up. Now the carom is on. You can play the carom and possibly with good control. Just a little bit of pace. He might draw the cue ball off of the brown 7 or just roll it, but it looks like he is going to draw it. And this has turned out perfect.
Mosconi Cup brings in a lot of people who might not be that familiar with 9-ball pools. So just to explain what Scott was talking about there, so long as you hit the lowest numbered ball remaining on the table first, any pot you make is legal and keeps you at the table. Now in a situation like that, where you flick off the first ball and then use the cue ball to run into the second ball, that's known as a carom, and it came off very nicely for FSR. That's why he's still at the table, shooting at the 3.
Saw a little flinch there in the stroke, a little snatchy. He's overrun the cue ball.
By some distance as well. So should still be okay here, but amid the pressure cooker of the Mosconi Cup, you don't want to be adding any extra little bits of tension. That's what he's done here.
This is a big shot for Ruiz. He's missed it, Michael. This is the opportunity that Gorst needed. The fans know it as well.
Well, it looked as though he'd solved the hardest part of the puzzle that was presented to him in this rack. Once he had played that carom and things had fallen nicely for him, he was on the 3. Didn't look like there was a huge amount left to do, but my, he overran position on the 4 by such a long way.
Yes, I almost thought that he could just come 1 rail out there earlier, and instead of overrunning it, he chose to come 3 rails, and that's how he lost the cue ball. Gorst has to clear these balls. I believe he can come 2 rails out, or does he have the angle to just draw straight? Oh, he's good here. He can draw straight out to the center of the table, just like so. A little draw on the 6. Looks to me like Gorst is going to finally take a lead.
It's been rare for the Americans even to be in that position at any point in this Mosconi Cup. But after losing the opening rack to Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, Fedor Gorst has won the next 2. He hits the front for the first time tonight. He leads 2-1. memories of 22 years ago here in London when Nick Varner and Johnny Archer started the week by losing the opening match. Incredibly, it was the only point Europe won, because the Americans then won the next 12 matches to win 12-1. And having started with that defeat, Varner and Archer ended the week clinching the winning point, and it was Archer, as we saw there, who made the winning 9-ball. The third time he did that in an extraordinary 4-year period around the turn of the millennium. That was back in 2001. Here in London in the present day, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz in rack 4 has just had the first ball potted off the break from either player in this match.
I was going to mention, Michael, I've noticed that these balls are breaking a little different. You've got to wonder why that's happening, but it's happening for both players. So there's no bias in this. And I will also mention, I had a brief chat with Ruiz last night in the hotel, and it struck me a little odd. He was not sounding extremely confident, possibly due to his performance during the day. So this is a huge opportunity for Gorst if he can take advantage. A big miss in the last rack by Ruiz in order for Gorst to take this lead. Looking at possible defensive plays. He could play the 2 in the lower left corner and try and split the 4 and 6. But man, it's tight. There's a wall of balls on the right side of the table. Do you use that to your benefit, playing a safe? Or could you cut the 2 towards the lower right and send the cue ball up table? Could be a gap here. And there is a gap, Michael.
It's the 40th rack of this Mosconi Cup. It's only the second one that's been played with the USA leading the match. They were 2-1 up in the opening team match last night. That was the only time prior to this that America have led in any match.
Yeah, to me it feels like we've almost won the cup. But I better not get ahead of myself. Tough shot here. A lot of distance. I think he wants to run into the 3. I think he has to run into the 3. Otherwise, he loses the cue ball. Oh, what a great shot. Where's it going to finish? It needs a rub. This is just par for the course. Of course, par for the course.
Captain and assistant captain looking on, both of them smiling, but so grudgingly. Jeremy loves to talk in all the commentaries he does throughout the year about the pool gods. Must be wondering what he's done to anger them so.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty cold-blooded there. And look at the 3, just come right out in the middle of the table. It could have hit anything and left it real tough. Instead, Ruiz looking clear at the 3. You've got to forget those little things that are happening. It's going to take some serious positive energy. Falling on top of the brown 7. This could cause issues. All ball fouls. If he touches the 7, it is ball in hand for Gorst. And look at this.
It's like they're glued together.
Like you and I, Michael.
We haven't reached that stage yet, Scott.
What a hit that was to clear the 8. Really good stroke.
You talked about indications of a lack of confidence from FSR in talking to him, Scott, but that's a shot that requires a lot of confidence to play that, bridge over the ball, get the contact, run through with it, nicely on the 5, and a chance to level again.
Yeah, that could be just what he needs to get him going here. I saw a little flinch there in the stroke. He's going to be fine. Something that has been unfamiliar for him is that flinch. I've not noticed it much this year. but I am noticing it here. Nice stroke there. Real good finish through the ball. It's a little off angle here. It's a little awkward. I think he can pinch it and draw out towards the top left side. Might want to go forward if he can miss the 9. Oh, and he's got plenty of room. He's going to fall almost perfect. Cue ball took a little nosedive to the right there. He can force follow this. He's getting the extension. 20 seconds on the clock. Joshua Filler loves the camera. Watch out. It has to clear the 9. Watch out. It's going to glue. We got problems. We have problems.
You know, in a race to 5, alternate breaker can slip away from you so easily. If Sanchez Ruiz loses this rack, Gorst is 3-1 up. He's then got the break in the next rack. So he's opened the door here again. Gorst, a big opportunity. USA never more than a rack in front in any match so far in this Mosconi Cup. What a fine job his team are doing. FSR, under a bit of pressure here. What can Gorst come up with?
Yeah, he's opened the door, but not too much. Can it go twice? Can it go twice?
Yeah, opened the door really in the sense of even just letting him back to the table, which wasn't expected, but I don't think he's going to be returning to the table again now in this rack. Jeremy Jones looks so distraught at what's going on here at Alexandra Palace over this first night and a half. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz then looked as though he passed up the chance to level, but he got a reprieve. So it's 2 racks apiece. So players from both teams coming out. Greet the 2 gladiators who are out in the arena and reflect on that rack. We saw that gentleman in the Spanish flag there again. I think that's another Spanish fan. Yeah, that's a Spanish scarf he's holding. One of the many, many highlights of the World 9-Ball Tour this year was the Spanish Open and World Cup, that fortnight in Lugo over the summer. And it was an atmosphere like this for so many of those matches. A Mosconi Cup in Spain would be unbelievable. Maybe we'll see it someday.
You can't fault Gorst for going for that 9 there. He had a 2-way to make it. If he does hit it short, a lot of times it will go in the other corner just a little too short. And you see Ruiz finishing there. And not a clean pot on that 9 either. It did rub its feet as it went in, but it's Gorst back at the table to break. And will we see the 1 going into the side, or will it continue to come short? He's switched sides.
Well, got to try something different. He's come up dry with both of his breaks so far.
Is all tied at 2 games apiece. Team USA to break.
Well, look at this. Well, the 8 maybe causing a little problem, but a real nice layout. Corner ball went straight in. Switching sides on the break might have something to do with that.
And sometimes when you've got a big deficit to try to overturn, it can be something really small like that, just breaking from the other side, that you end up looking back and saying, you know what, that was the moment we started to turn it round. But a long way from saying anything like that just yet.
Yeah, does he travel 3 rails here to play the blue 2 in the same corner? Oh, the This is nicely done. He played it 2 rails. Perfect speed. That tells you he's comfortable. I don't see any major problems here. He's got a hold for the 3. Shouldn't be a problem.
Fedor Gorst, 23 years of age. Was world champion as a teenager some 4 years ago. And he was absent from the international stage for some time, but really marked his return to it in big style this year. Did so well in so many big events. Got to the US Open final and led 6-3, then lost the next 10 racks to Ko Ping Chung. Did win 2 big, traditional, long-standing events in America during the year. He also won the Terry Open in Hanoi just before the major event there, the Hanoi Open. So he's been so consistent. There's actually a strong argument for saying he's been the best player in the world this year.
He's fallen perfect here. Only thing I see is he needs to get below the black 8 in order to get down for the 9. Playing the black 8 in the top side pocket, following this 6 and 7. So he'd like to carry that angle and go forward. Does he go all the way up to where that cue is now?
Extension, please.
He looks calm to me. He started looking really calm to me in the middle of last match. I'm not surprised that he's playing a solid match here. It's what he does. He's fallen too straight, I believe. Shake of the head.
Well, we had a very similar leg twist in the previous rack, didn't we, when Sanchez Ruiz finished quite straight on the 8 and wasn't able to get on the 9. Won the rack eventually, but similar situation here creates the possibility of late drama in rack 5 as well.
Yes, he's caught the 7 a little too full. Can he get down? Oh, he's played the 8 in the corner. What a hit this is. The crowd will love it.
That is the definition of a shot that has been played to absolute perfection. And so with a routine 9, Fedor Gorst manages to hit the front for the 2nd time in this match. He now is ahead of Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, 3-2. Well, run-outs from the break have been thin on the ground so far in this Mosconi, but we've had one now in this match. And if Fedor Gorst can somehow eke out 2 more racks, maybe, finally, Jeremy Jones' American team can at last start to turn the momentum. JJ's smiling for once, Scott. We've not seen much of that over the last day and a bit.
Yeah, that's right. I see the team walk out there and they were kind of laughing and smiling. I don't think any of them thought Gorst was going to cut that in the corner. And he got down and made it look so easy. And that's what Gorst does when he's on his game, which is usually all the time.
And he was on the right side of the table there, wasn't he, to gesture to the American fans, to try to milk the moment. They've been wonderful support, even in the face of everything that's gone against them so far in this Mosconi Cup. And boy, will they jump around if they can end the house of pain that Alexandra Palace has been for them since this contest began, by getting their first point on the board here. Great to be here in North London on a Thursday night.
Number 6.
At a venue which, apart from the COVID Mosconi and Coventry 3 years ago, become Europe's home in this tournament.
Team Europe to break.
Europe very much in command so far, but not in this match. FSR, though, breaking, looking to level again.
It's a big break here. The 1 has come short, and it looks dry. Does the 6 clear? I don't believe it has, but it's still better Then a break and run by Ruiz. So Gorst will have an opportunity at a rollout at worst. Up until last break, both players struggling on the break a little bit.
Push out call.
He's calling a rollout or a push out. This means that he can push the cue ball anywhere he'd like, and it's his opponent's option on whether he will take the shot from where it lays or give it back. Boy, this is a gutsy push out, in my opinion. Unless Ruiz can see all of the one, Michael. And the problem with this is it requires a real thin hit unless he thinks he can clear the double kiss and put him up behind the 6. This is touchy. He's chose distance, needs to settle. And it didn't. It's come up. Ruiz is going to have a shot.
Extension, please.
Ralph Eckert remaining the calm, relaxed presence he's been since it all started. He's still yet to see his team lose a match in his entire Mosconi Cup career, because this is his first time as captain and he's got that 100% record so far.
That's a pretty good stat. He doesn't want to catch the 7. I believe it snookered him. He's going to the jump cue. More good news for Gorst and Team USA. He's a little bit scratchy, Michael.
Yeah, and it all adds to the importance of Gorst taking this point, because it's not like some of the other matches we've seen where the American side has just been blown away. Sanchez Ruiz has opened the door at times, he's made errors. It makes it so important that Gorst capitalises.
Is the carom available on the 9? Can he see enough of the 2 to play it? And if Gorst can somehow squeeze this match out and give a point to Team USA, he can lead Shane Van Boening into the doubles. He can see enough of it, but man, if he doesn't make the 9, it could be bad news. He's looking at it. He's looking to play both balls. He's looking at the 9. Buckle your seatbelts.
Well, if that 9 drops, I think we'd be calling it the shot of the tournament so far. As much for the impact it could potentially have on the contest as anything else. It was a great effort.
Yeah, I really like his decision. There's nothing wrong with going down, being aggressive. He was close. He had to jump a piece of the ball, it looked like. This is not easy. Where's this cue ball going to finish? Gorst can see the whole ball, I believe, but I don't think it's makeable. And Ruiz was hampered over the 8 and 5. Shot was not easy. This is not easy. He's caught the double kiss, but I think it's going to work out. He needs a rub on the green 6. He can play a rail first here, Michael, but it's not easy either. actually lays pretty good to go rail first. He's overcut it. Too thin, but once again, the cue ball getting up table, and it's going to finish behind the 6. A lot of people might think that's lucky, but he was playing the cue ball up table. And at this point, I'm not even positive he was trying to make the 2. He might not have been able to get enough of it. Gorst could use a little luck here. No, he hit the right side of it as well, the pro side, but it's not going to end well for him.
One piece of good news is that the cue ball didn't take another couple of rolls. Make this shot a good deal more straightforward for FSR. That's why he wasn't able to get on the 3. He would have liked.
Got it down.
Yeah, nice recovery. And it just feels as though over the last day and a half, every time it looks as though the Americans might be giving themselves a springboard to just go on and build a bit of momentum, they always get dragged back in, either through bad luck or a miss along the way. They've just been totally lacking any sort of momentum at any stage in the contest. Looks as though, having been level at 1-all and 2-all, we're going to be tied again at 3 each.
And not only that, Ruiz starting to look more comfortable. His pace around the table, looking more confident. Is that exactly what he needed to get loose here?
Well, it's been an intriguing rack. FSR now tries to do what Gorst did earlier, getting the crowd going a bit. We're heading for a close finish in this one. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz levels us up once again. It's 3-all.
trying to make it, then you can take it, but you better get in the zone.
The Americans have gone down to some heavy one-sided defeats so far in this Mosconi Cup, but there have been some close matches. We've got another one now. And if the support of Americans like that is a factor, then maybe Fedor Gorst can deliver America's first point. The most matches any team has ever won in succession from the start of a Mosconi Cup is 7. That was done by Europe 10 years ago. They win this match in the form of Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, they'll be one away from equaling that. But Fedor Gorst is still battling away here. That man in the picture has levelled once again at 3-all, but Gorst will break in rack 7, and of course we're getting close now to the prospect of a hill-hill finish, and we have to bear in mind, Scott, if it goes that way, Gorst will have the break in it.
Yeah, Michael, and I do like Gorst in a hill-hill battle. His fundamentals rock solid. We did get a look at the captain. Let's admit it, he is nervous, and so am I.
Number 7, our current score is tied at 3 games apiece.
The coolest
Team
man in North
USA
London tonight.
to break.
He needs 2 more racks to get that first point.
Oh my goodness, the 1 is down, but so is the cue ball, and the 2-9, is it available? I would sure think not. The cue ball kissed straight into the corner, and you have to wonder, what do you have to do? It's tight. I don't know. These guys are so good. There's no reason to flirt with that. If he's got ball in hand, and that's what he has, he can place the cue ball anywhere he'd like.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even if the 2-9 isn't on, it's not a bad layout to go with a more conventional route.
You touched on it just a little bit ago, and it just seems like the energy, you're just expecting something to happen every time USA has an opportunity to really go ahead.
How quickly the momentum can change in this format and the situation of the match, because now you've got Gorst breaking at 3-all. We're talking about him having the break if it goes hill-hill. All of a sudden, after that scratch, it's now FSR at the table with the chance to be first to the hill, and then he would be breaking in that position in rack 8.
Massive. And the scratch wasn't controlled. He got a terrible kiss into the lower right. It just seems like destiny right now.
But let's not write off this rack yet by any means, because we've seen FSR make unexpected stumbles at numerous junctures throughout this match.
I just sense a confidence in his pace, his body language. This is steep. These side pockets are tight.
Extension, please.
He knows the importance of this shot. And that's probably got a lot to do with his world-class ability and experience in the recent years. This is a big shot. And it's a little steeper than it looks on our screen. Great angle there. He's missed it. But look at where it's finished.
We can see from that angle how clearly, so clearly, just how hard it is to cut from an angle like that into the side pockets. There's so little room to get that ball in there, but that wasn't the issue there at all. He was so far wide of the mark.
Extension, please.
And his mate is gutted for him.
And it was kind of what we call a blind ball. But this is probably a taller order than what Ruiz had. He's got to play some type of defensive shot here. Uh-oh. Needs the 5 to get up. This is going to work only because of where the green 6 is. I don't think the captain will be too upset about that. You can see the purple 5 is frozen. He's going to use the 7 as cover. Needs a rub for Gorst, and he's gotten it. This is actually a very big change here. I don't know what Gorst can do offensively. It's such a steep cut. He's got to get back down for the 6, and the cue ball is on the rail. Does he attempt the same shot? Well, he can just bank it right in, get off the rail.
And just look at the cool, assured manner in which he did that. And he's already eyeing up his next shot. He expected to make that. He's going to look at the 6.
I think this is an advantage to playing last match. He's gotten comfortable. I don't know of much that he's done wrong this set. Well struck. He had to use inside English. Used all of the pocket. Crowd chanting Europe as Gorst is at the table. Not an easy place for these guys to play in by any means.
Of course, he never actually heard the chance of Europe in a Mosconi Cup in his favour, because the one he played in for the other side was the COVID Mosconi in Coventry. No crowd there.
What a bank by Gorst on the 5. Watch the side pocket. We need a roll here. We got it.
No hint of an apology. He's just enjoying the moment. Prior to this, only once in the whole Mosconi Cup had the American side been even a rack ahead in a match. It's now happened for the 3rd time in this contest. And Fedor Gorst is first to the hill here against the world champion. He leads 4-3. Scott, it's hard to believe this is only match 6 of a possible 21. It feels so much bigger than that.
It really does, but it's the first point, a possible first point for Team USA. And what better than Fedor Gorst to bring that point? Team USA looking really relaxed right now, in my opinion. They're acting as a family, they're acting as one, they're acting as a team.
Some of the big moments again in that 7th rack, and you know, FSR has now got the break in the next rack, but it's not like he's been running out from the break so far in this contest. He hasn't done it in any of the 3 times he's broken. In fact, 2 of them came up dry, so how much of a factor that is a moot point. They've never wavered for a moment, those American fans. They've come all this way to support their team. It's gone horribly wrong for them so far. What a reaction they're going to give if their man can deliver their first point.
Yeah, they could seriously blow the roof off of this place if Gorst can get this point.
Number 8. Our current score is 4-3 in favor of Team USA. Team Europe to break.
John Lehman summing up the situation just perfectly for us. Big rack coming up.
Ruiz, the 1 has gone long, but he's got a ball down. Does the 1 go? Does the 1 pass the 8? It does. Well, it's tight, and it does. But at this angle, what happens is he's coming from the steep angle. He's got to go back and forth with the cue ball. He's worried about a little bit of a twist or a turn on the one. Therefore, typically when you shoot this shot, you want to play to overcut it a hair. He's got to go for it. He's going to try and hold the cue ball as well, somewhere out into the center of the table. Oh, and he's used outside English. Couldn't ask for more than that.
Made this look easy the way he played it. Absolute perfection, right in the heart of the pocket.
That was cleanly struck. Center of the pocket, asking for the cue ball to be clean. Might have noticed something on it. The great John Lehman.
Shown remarkable poise under pressure so many times over the last
Attention,
year
please.
and a bit. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, particularly in the decisive moments of those big close matches he had throughout his US Open and World Championship winning campaigns. But this is different, isn't it? It's a team environment. It has shown him that at times, but it's always going to test you.
You touched on the Hill-Hill match earlier, meaning 4-4. Is that what it's destined to be? And Gorst would be breaking. He's got a good angle. Real nice angle here. This needs to settle. It needs to settle. He was a bit snatchy again, and it's got away from him.
How many times this evening have we seen him overrun a positional shot by that sort of wide margin? It's really been a feature of the match.
Adrenaline.
Absolutely. And another of those stumbles we didn't anticipate.
No matter how this ends up, Gorst is thrilled to have an opportunity back at the table. It's not a great one, that's for sure. This is a great look. Can he even see the edge of this ball? Or does he have a better opportunity at kicking one rail at it? Possibly fluking the 7 off of the 9,
Attention,
making
please.
the 7 straight in the lower left. He's going to take his time. And I can't blame him.
With his partner David Al-Qaedi, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz ran out from both of his breaking racks in the doubles last night. He's had 4 of them tonight. Hasn't run out from any of them. That looked like a good chance.
Boy, this is a big, big shot here. I don't know where this ball will finish if he makes a good hit. He needs this cue ball to travel. I don't know that it got there, Michael. And it didn't by a fraction. Just seems to be how the story has gone. Has he fallen straight here? If he has, he doesn't have a lot of room for position on the 9. Flinchy, snatchy.
Absolutely, it was so apparent. And this isn't given yet.
This is not easy. And you gotta wonder, is it going through his mind, could I be the first one to lose a point to Team USA?
There's one false move away from doing that. But throughout this contest, it's always had the feel of one that was going to go the full distance. And that is exactly what has transpired. Fedor Gorst will break in a hill finish in a moment. It is without question, Scott, going to be the most important, the most significant rack of this Mosconi Cup so far, by far.
I don't think you want a better man out there than Gorst. His fundamentals are rock solid. He's broken the balls pretty good this match, a little up and down, but if you want one man to do this for you, it's the man at the table now.
There really was enormous pressure on him coming into tonight. He'd been the big talking point in the lead up to the Mosconi this year. Status changing, playing for the US 3 years after his appearance for Europe. And then coming into tonight, it was clear that Jeremy Jones was turning to him in his hour of need, putting him out for all of the first 3 matches of this second night. Couldn't deliver in the first of them against Joshua Filler. This, though, a totally different contest.
Little fist bump there. Class by both players. Ruiz, pure class. Gorst, pure class. Couldn't get any better for the fans. But I must say, I'd like the guy in the red to win this game.
Rack number 9. We are all tied at 4 games apiece. Team USA to break on the hill.
Second hill finish of this year's Mosconi. Will it deliver the first American point?
The one is down. The cue ball's got to settle. And look at this. It is nothing offensive from what I see. Can he use the 8 as cover? It's touchy, but I think he's got to play the 2 back up. Utilize the 7, 5, 9, 8 as cover, or can he come the other way? Let's see what he decides. Oh, he's hit it real thin. It needs to fall. It's fallen. Is this the role that USA needs?
Attention, please.
Only once before in Mosconi Cup history has one team won all of the first 5 matches of the tournament. It's a start which has done so much to dampen all the enthusiasm there was about American chances this year. It's got to start turning around quickly. Fedor Gorst is the man with the chance to do it.
Well, he's let the cue ball run there, and I really love that choice. He didn't try to hold it. That 3 was thin. Still looks good to me. I don't see any signs of waver in him. You have to believe he was playing defense on the 2 just because of where the cue ball finished and where the 3 laid. But that's over with. He's used all of the pocket there, but he'll take it. And you can
And
feel.
now, sorry Scott, just to say now it is just a test of nerve, isn't it? Because look at these balls, this is where you'd want them to be.
Talking about nerve, you can feel the tension in this room starting to brew. This could be the first point for Team USA. And what better man to deliver that blow?
Yeah, and then the Americans will hope to carry that momentum into the next match, which he's also going to be involved in with Shane Van Boening against Sanchez Ruiz. And the man who beat Gorst earlier this evening in singles, Joshua Filler. But this isn't ideal, Scott.
He's come up short, Michael. He's come up real short. This is a natural shot. He plays this shot every day. at home. But this isn't some weekend tournament at your local pub. Can he get it down? He's missed it. And he has not snookered him. This is absolutely devastating for USA.
And just as a win for Gorst here could have changed the momentum and given them a springboard, a platform, something to build on, so the Americans are going to be so deflated if this chance is passed up. Because if Francisco Sanchez Ruiz can pot these last 3 balls, Europe, relatively early on the second night, will already be more than halfway to winning their 4th straight Mosconi Cup.
And this was a point so dearly needed. And you know that Ruiz will take advantage. Gorst came up a little bit short on the 7, hit it a fraction thick. Seemed like he played it awful quickly. I'm sure that adrenaline was up, but it's going to be a devastating blow.
Fedor Gorst led 2-1. He led 3-2. He was first to the hill at 4-3, and he had a chance to win the match by 5 racks to 4. But he fell 3 balls short. And Francisco Sanchez Ruiz has won it in a hill finish. It's another win for him, the 3rd he's been part of already in this Mosconi, and it's a 6th win for Europe. They've got half a dozen points on the board. USA have yet to register. The doubles to follow becomes absolutely massive. Europe's domination continues on this Thursday night at Alexandra Palace.